Have you ever heard of some mouthpiece yapping about there is no Palestine or Palestinians? Well, this video is dedicated to the people of Palestine and to debunk their false theory about the Palestinians. So, the Palestinian land is one of the oldest continuously inhabited on earth, yet the world knows them as refugees. Cast out from their ancestral villages, they have survived in camps for decades, preserving their culture and identity against all odds. The Palestinians are descended from those who have cultivated the banks of the Jordan River since time immemorial. Yet today, they are a divided people, split between occupied territories and in exile, enduring a conflict that has raged for generations. Despite the centuries of invaders seeking to dominate this sacred land, the Palestinian spirit remains undefeated. Through turmoil and uprising, they have never relinquished their eternal connection to their homeland. From farmers to freedom fighters, their national aspiration continues inspiring resistance in the face of huge adversity. And now, in the 21st century, the dream of independence remains as elusive as ever. As a new generation comes of age, surrounded by walls and weapons, one thing is clear. This is a people who will never surrender, even in diaspora. Palestinian resilience and pride in their history and identity remains unbreakable. This is the epic story of a nation whose roots stretch back to Canaan itself. Divided yet indomitable, the Palestinian people have survived empires, but their struggle to return to their ancestral land is just the beginning. The Palestinian people refers to the inhabitants of the geographic region of Palestine, which is located in the Middle East. Palestinians are ethnically and culturally diverse group with historical and ancestral ties to the land. They identify themselves as Palestinians and have a shared national identity. The Palestinian people have a complex history that dates back thousands of years, and Palestine has been a significant center of various civilizations and empires throughout history. Their ancestry can be traced back thousands of years to ancient Canaanite people who inhabited the land. However, the distinct Palestinian national identity emerged in the early 20th century, which is the same as the Lebanese identity, the Turkish identity, or the Saudi identity. And in modern times, the Palestinian national identity has been shaped largely by the conflict with Israel and the struggle for self-determination. The establishment of the State of Israel in 1948 led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, resulting in what is known as the Palestinian refugee issue. Today, there are millions of Palestinians living in the occupied Palestinian territories, including the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, as well as in neighboring countries and communities around the world. The Palestinian people have sought to establish an independent and sovereign Palestinian state alongside Israel, based on internationally recognized borders and the right to self-determination. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the search for a resolution that addresses the aspirations of both Israeli and Palestinians remain a significant challenge in the region. The Palestinian people are ethnically diverse, and while the majority of Palestinians are Arabs, there are various ethnic groups within the Palestinian population. Here are some of the diverse ethnic groups found among Palestinians. Let's start with the Palestinian Arabs. The majority of Palestinians are Arabs, primarily of Levantine Arab descent. They are the largest ethnic group within the Palestinian population, and they share linguistic, cultural, and historical ties with other Arab communities in the region. Secondly are the Bedouins. The Bedouins are traditionally nomadic Arabian tribes who historically inhabited desert areas. In occupied Palestine, Bedouin communities can be found in the Negev Desert, in southern occupied Palestine, and the West Bank. They have distinct cultural practices and traditions often centered around a pastoral lifestyle. And thirdly, they are the Samaritans. The Samaritans are a small religious and ethnic group in Palestine. They trace their ancestry back to the ancient Israelites or Hebrews. And Samaritans who who inhabited the region thousands of years ago. Today, the Samaritan communities is concentrated in the city of Nablus in the West Bank. And fourthly, there are the Circassians. Circassians are an ethnic group originating from the Caucasus region. Just like the Palestinians, they were displaced from their homeland in the 19th century and settled in various parts of the Ottoman Empire, including Palestine. Today, there are small Circassian communities in the West Bank, particularly in the village of Kafarkama. And the fifth ethnic groups are the Armenians. The Armenians have a long history in Palestine, particularly in the city of Jerusalem. Many Armenians migrated to Palestine during the Ottoman period and established a vibrant community. They have their own distinct cultural and religious traditions and maintain a presence in Jerusalem to this day. And the sixth ethnic group are the Afro-Palestinians. They are Palestinians of African descent, commonly known as the Afro-Palestinians or Black Palestinians. They have roots in historic African communities such as the Sudanese and Nubian population, as well as more recent migrants from countries like Eritrea and Ethiopia. And the sixth ethnic group are the Druze. The Druze are a small religious sect of around 1,300,000 people living mostly in the Galilee region of northern occupied Palestine and some in Syria, and they speak Arabic. And the last ethnic group are the Palestinian Jews, a distinct ethnic minority of Arabic-speaking Mizrahi Jews who lived in historic Palestine prior to the 20th century Zionist occupation of Palestine. So now we know about the different and diverse ethnic groups of Palestinians, and now what about their genetic history? Are they indigenous to the land or are they something else? The Palestinian genome is a combination of three Stone Age populations that shaped the Levant, and we are going to look at the Palestinian genome throughout history and in different time periods in order to understand these people in a genetic perspective. So let's go to the Stone Age breakdown of the average Palestinian. The average Palestinian DNA is 33% Natufian related or the Levant farmer. The Natufians were a proto-agriculturalist culture from the Levant who lived between 15,000 to 11,000 years ago. Today, this genomic component is found highest in population found in South Semitic people in southeastern provinces of Yemen and southwestern provinces of Oman. And also the average Palestinian genome is around 35.5% Anatolian Neolithic farmer derived. The Anatolian Neolithic farmer lived in Anatolia around 9,000 years ago. They began to migrate into both Europe and the Middle East and North Africa and thus mixed with the Natufians, forming a new genomic component known as the Levant Neolithic farmer. Levant Neolithic farmer DNA makes up around 50 to 60% of the Palestinian genome, and it is a characteristic genetic signal found in West Asia as well as parts of Southern Europe and North Africa. And then after the Neolithic period ended approximately 7,000 years ago, it was soon followed by the Copper Age. The Copper Age was characterized by mass movements of Iranian people known as the Iranian Chalcolithic, and before they migrated to the Levant, the people in the Levant were almost as genetically divergent to the Iranian people as B. But over the course of thousands of years, there were waves of diverse population that migrated into the Levant, bringing a distinct Iranian Chalcolithic component into the region and settled the foundation for groups such as the Canaanites. The Canaanites were a distinct northwestern Semitic-speaking people that lived in the heart of the Bronze Age, and they were the expert seafarers of that time, in which in 3,500 years ago colonized territories throughout the Mediterranean, reaching as far as the Iberian Peninsula and also the Maghreb. So the Palestinians derive a significant portion of their ancestry between 50 to 80% from groups genetically similar to the Bronze Age Canaanites. So, what about the Philistines? Are they related to the modern Palestinians or not? The Philistines were a group of people who likely originated in Anatolia and Greece. They were a seafaring people who alongside many others, were a catalyst behind the late Bronze Age collapse. Pharaoh Ramses tried to conquer the Philistines, who the ancient Egyptians called them Pele, and it's said to have been relocated somewhere in the southern Levant. While genetic and archaeological evidence can verify the existence of the Philistine, the modern Palestinians are not genetically related to them. But the ancient Philistines in reality were more genetically related to modern Greeks and Italians. And also, the Palestinian genome may also be attributed to more recent migrations after this. The region was then conquered by the Assyrians, then the Babylonians, then the Persians, then the Greeks, and finally the Romans, who renamed the region to Palestine after the Jewish revolt. And then came the Byzantine Empire, and then it was conquered by the Rashidun Caliphate in the 7th century AD. And among Palestinian Muslims, the Arabian DNA component peaks at around 20%. But it is important to note that Arabs have always existed in the southern Levant, dating as far back as the Iron Age. After this, the Crusaders invaded but left minimal genetic impact in the area. And after the Crusaders, Palestine was ruled by various caliphs until the Ottomans. The Ottomans conquered the region, and at this point is where we start to see a major foreign admixture alongside the Palestinians, from groups such as the Egyptians, North Africans, Circassians, Kurds, and even the Bosniaks. So the Palestinian people exhibit a great diversity, but one thing which unites them all is their shared connection that they have to the world's oldest historic regions. And also shout out to Genetic Brew for this genetic history. I mean, it helped me a lot during the research of this video. So let's explore the Palestinian culture. Palestinian culture is rich and diverse, encompassing various aspects such as languages, religion, cuisine, art, music, dance, and traditions. It has been shaped by the historical and geographical influences of the region, as well as the experiences of the Palestinian people. Let's start with the language. The primary language spoken by Palestinians is Arabic, especially the Palestinian dialect. Arabic is also the language of literature, poetry, and religious texts. English and Hebrew are also spoken by some Palestinians, particularly those living in areas with significant contact with English speaker or Hebrew speaking communities. And what about the religion? The majority of Palestinians are Muslims, with Islam playing a central role in their culture and daily life. Christianity also has a significant presence among Palestinians, particularly in the cities of Bethlehem and Nazareth. Palestinian cuisine reflects the region's agricultural heritage and includes a variety of dishes such as knafe, mahashi, makluba, and musakhan. Olive oil, bread, fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs are a staple ingredients in Palestinian cooking. So let's go to the fun side of the Palestinian culture. Let's go to the art and music. Palestinian art often depicts themes related to identity, resistance, and the Palestinian experience. Traditional handicrafts such as ceramics, woodwork are highly valued. Palestinian music showcases a mix of traditional and contemporary styles, including dabke, which is the traditional Levantine folk dance, which is deeply ingrained in Palestinian culture, symbolizing belonging, rootedness, and unity. The dabke originated as a source of inspiration during communal tasks like farming and working on the land. And of today, the traditional line dance has become a global phenomenon embraced at Palestinian weddings and family gatherings and ceremonies. And the music instrument traditionally played by the Palestinians is the oud. So, the Palestinian society places a strong emphasis on family and community. Social gatherings, weddings, and festivals play an important role in Palestinian culture. Traditional attire, such as the tartiz, which is traditionally embroidered dress, which holds great significance in the intricate tartiz patterns, but also the rich social and cultural meaning it carries in its threads, in which the tartiz is a century-old iconic craft of Palestinian heritage and in each region has its own unique embroidery motifs, colors, and patterns. And the kofiyeh, which is the white and black checkered scarf, which is one of the greatest assets of the Palestinian culture, and it's not just fashion, it carries a deep historical significance for Palestinian struggle. The Palestinian identity, as it had become an internationally recognized icon of solidarity with the people of Palestine, which is why it's very common to see kafia worn at demonstrations for Palestinians, uniting people in support of the cause, and across generations between the youth and the elderly proudly wears the kafia, and it has become an essential garment in each and every household as it holds significance in national celebrations and weddings, as it is the significant symbol of Palestinian identity. And another important Palestinian culture is the olive tree. Palestinians hold one of the oldest olive trees in the world, some of them tracing back to almost 5,000 years ago. The olive trees hold significant and cultural, societal, economic, and national importance, with over 45% of Palestinian land dedicated to olive grove. And the olive trees are not only a source of sustenance but also a vital part of the economy. The olive harvesting season is a significant event that brings communities together, and unfortunately, the beautiful olive harvesting season is often disrupted by the aggression of Israeli settlers who commit violent attacks on Palestinian olive groves that include burning, vandalism, and uprooting their olive trees. And yet, in response, Palestinians unite to protect their olive trees, demonstrating their unwavering connection to the land and how essential olive trees are to their livelihoods. And it is important to know that the Palestinian culture is not homogeneous. There are variations and nuance within different regions and communities. The Palestinian diaspora resulting from the displacement of Palestinians over the years has also contributed to the diversity and evolution of Palestinian culture in different parts of the world. So friends, if you are still watching this is your treat in the form of poetry about the Palestinian people. Land where sunset paints the sky in gold, where ancient tales of valor and love unfold. There reside a people, resilient and true, whose beauty shines throughout all they've been through. Palestinian souls, like stars in the night, illuminate the darkness with unwavering light. Their smiles, like the sun's warm embrace, radiant hope filling every space. In their eyes the fire of passion burns, a longing for justice, a desire that yearns. Through adversity storms they remain strong. Their spirit soars high like a bird's sweet song. With eyes that shimmer with hope's embrace, they yearn for justice, seeking solace and grace. Their voices rise as a chorus of resilience. Undeterred by hardships, they find brilliance. From Gaza's shores to Bethlehem's manga, their heritage weaves a tapestry of fervor. Through intifadas and struggles untold, their roots run deep, their spirits bold. In refugee camps and scattered diaspora, their longing for home fuels a fire aura. They carry memories of ancient olive trees, whispering tales of a land that breathes. And so that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, stay curious.